So let's start. Where are we starting?
Similarity.
The initial.
Mr. Initial.
Okay, guys, so let's continue with our calculus. Huh? Yes, we have to finish this. Zoe. At least I called you by your name. So let me just ask this before I can go further. Is there anyone who cannot plot the cubic function? Is there? Is there anyone who cannot plot the cubic function? I ask again. Let me re-ask. Is there anyone who cannot sketch the cubic function? Douglas?
Yeah, no idea.
Bob?
Dito ba nang like a few questions ako lang ko?
Okay, you can ask.
No, hindi to ba sa?
Okay. So I think the best thing that we can do now, let's try to. Is there anyone with a multiplication paper, paper 1? So now we are trying to do what? Let's try to find the equation of the cubic function when we are given certain points, right? Yeah. Right? So as I explained yesterday, that finding the equation it's a bit challenging topic, yeah? Right? It's a bit challenging, right? Are you in class?
Yes.
Or should we stop? And are you in class? So stop what you're doing. So let's see. We're having this as our f at x is equal to ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d, right? And we are told that this function passes through these points, negative 2 and 0. And then passes through 2 and 0, passes through 6 and 0, and it also passes through this point. Right? And then they say determine the values of what? A, B, C, D, right? Yeah. So if we are given in this manner, it is very, very simple, right? Why am I saying it is very, very simple? Because they gave you the what? The roots. Can you see the roots? Yeah. So they gave you all the roots and they gave you another point, right? So if you are given all the roots and another point, it becomes simple, ne? How? Because we know that when we are factorizing, what do we get? We get a x minus x1, x minus x2, and then x minus x3. So these are the three x values. Can you see that? Yeah. So if we're having x values like this, it means that we can simply substitute them there, right? So this becomes our a being equals to a, and then x
then plus 2
becomes plus 2, right? Yeah. X plus 2, and then this one x minus 2, and then lastly x minus 6, right?
Yeah.
And then we are having an additional point, right? So straightforward, we can find the value of what? Of a using that additional point. Because we are having our y as 15 and our x as 3. So we can quickly substitute that, right? So what is our y? 15, right? Yeah. Becomes a, and what is our x? 3 plus 2, 3 minus 2, 3 minus 6. Is there anyone that is not finding this? So we are going to solve for what? For A, right?
Yeah.
So this becomes our 15 being equals to A,
5
and then this is 5, this is what?
One.
1, and this is what?
minus 3.
Minus 3. If you multiply this, we are going to get what? Negative 15A. So it means that our A is equals to what?
Negative 1.
1, right?
Yeah.
So it means that, it simply means that this is A is equals to negative 1, x plus 2, x minus 2, and then x minus
Minus
6, right?
Yeah.
So it means that now we can expand this, we can multiply throughout the equation, right?
Yeah.
So this becomes a y being equals to negative 1. If you multiply out these first two brackets, what will you get? You get x squared minus 4, right?
Yeah.
And then it becomes x minus 6. Now we can multiply with the what? With the second bracket, right?
Yeah.
So if you multiply out with the second bracket, this is what you are going to get. We are going to get y being equals to negative 1. And then this multiplied by that becomes
Cubed.
x cubed. This and that becomes what?
Minus
Negative
6
6x squared, right? This and this becomes
Minus
negative 4x, right? And this becomes what? Positive 24, right? And then are there any like terms? No. So it means that the next thing we're going to multiply with this value of
Negative
a.
1.
So our y becomes negative x cubed plus 6x squared plus 4x minus 24, right?
Yeah.
Did you answer the question yet? No. They said find the value of a, b, c, and d. So we are going to say our a is equals to negative 1, our b is equals to 6, our c is equals to 4, and then our d is equals to negative 24. So if you are given all the values of the what? Of the roots and an additional point, it is very, very easy to find the what? The equation of your cubic function. Right? Yes.
Yeah, I think this is a way which could multiply or use two.
Apa kita multiply x plus
Oh,
2
iya,
na x
sorry.
minus 2.
Yes.
Ari itu zazot marai.
Ari
Factorize
kita
zori x
Factorizing.
x dari x squared dari
Products. So doing products. So if you do products of these two brackets, you are going to get this. Because these are the difference between two squares.
bon
Right?
asari ko ikori x dari x squared plus dari 2x azone dari negative 2x and dari plus 2x ikon dari mini negative 4
And those two in between they're going to cancel each other, right?
4x
Yeah. And then we'll multiply with the second bracket and then we're going to get that. Right?
Sorry kita so itu ni ide the x is now chicken is now square this nani arrangement.
So let's go on and find and try to see what we can do with the second one, right? So also this one, it is the same. We're using the same way, right? As I said, sometimes once you know how to do something, try to do as many examples as possible, right?
Yeah.
As many as you can. So again, we're having the same situation, but now we're having different values, right?
Yeah.
So let's also try to find this one. So now we're having this again, and then they said we're having negative 5, 0, 1 and 0, 6 and 0, and we're also having 2 and 14. So these are what our what? Our x intercepts, right? We're trying to find the equation of that as well, right? So again, we are going to do the same procedure, right?
Yeah.
So this is y is equals to a x minus x1, x minus x2, x minus x3, right?
Yeah.
So this becomes our y being equals to what?
A
To a x plus 5, x minus 1, x minus 6, right?
Yeah.
So x minus 6 like this, right? So straightforward, you can find the value of what? Of a by substituting what? The value of x and the value of what?
Y.
Of y, right?
Yeah.
So this y is 14, and what is our value of x?
Is 2.
Is 2 plus 5, 2 minus 1, and then 2 minus 6, right?
Yeah.
So 14 becomes a, and this becomes what? 7, and this becomes what? 1, right? And this becomes what?
Minus 4.
Minus 4, right? So 14 becomes negative 28a, and you divide through by negative 28. So a is equal to negative half, right?
Yeah.
So we found the value of a to be negative half, right? So it means that we can substitute that and multiply out our equation, right? So this becomes y is equal to a, sorry, our a we already have, which is negative half, right? So this is x plus 5, x minus 1, and then x minus 6, right? So this becomes negative half, right? If we multiply these two brackets, we are going to get x squared minus is plus 4x, and then minus 5, right?
Yeah.
Being multiplied by x minus 6, right?
Yeah.
So these two brackets, if you multiply them out, you are going to get this, right?
Yeah.
So this becomes negative half. This multiplied by that gives us what? X cubed, right? This multiplied by that gives us negative 6x squared, right?
Yeah.
We're going to the second term. This multiplied by that gives us plus 4x squared. This multiplied by that gives us what? Negative 24x, right?
Yeah.
This multiplied by that, negative 5x. This multiplied by that, positive 30, right?
Yeah.
So this becomes negative half. This is our x cubed, and this becomes negative 2x squared, right? This and this becomes what? Negative 29x plus 30, right? Now we can multiply through by what? By negative half, right? So this y becomes, this multiplied by that is negative half x cubed, right?
Yeah.
This multiplied by that becomes
X plus
positive
x
x
squared.
squared. This multiplied by that becomes what? Positive 29 over 2x. And this multiplied by that becomes negative 15, right? Did you answer the question yet?
No.
Right? Our value of a becomes negative half. The value of b becomes 1. The value of c becomes 29 over 2. And the value of d becomes negative 15. Right?
Yeah.
As simple as that. Right? So, again I say, they all test you the same, guys. They all test you different ways, right? This is a straightforward way. There can be some other ways that are what? They are different. Right? So let's look at this one.
Steven, why are you doesn't look from Basoni Maragama the expert never saw.
I explained this two and also explained this two. Can I erase it? Caleb, stop what you're doing. I said stop what you're doing. Okay. So, let's try to do this one. It is different, guys. And bear with me. I also don't know how to do this. I also don't know how to do this. We're all learning.
Do what?
I'm teaching this. Okay. So let's do this. Consider the function f at x is equal to ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. And then we are told to determine the values of a, b, c, and d, right? If f into 1 is equals to f into minus 2, which is equals to f into 0, which is equals to 0. And we are also told that our f into 0 is equals to negative. Right?
Yeah.
So now it needs your knowledge of functions. Right? So let's first check this. What are they trying to say?
Let's see.
They said f into 1 is equals to f into
Negative 2.
2. It is equals to
F into 0.
equals to 0, right? What does it mean? It means that
If
if we take 1 and substitute at the values of x, right?
Yeah.
We are going to get 0, right?
Yeah.
So let's do that, right? So it means that f at 1 is equals to a 1 cubed plus b 1 squared plus c 1 plus d is equals to 0, right? So it means that this becomes a plus b plus c plus d is equals to 0. So this is one of our equations that we saw from this, right?
Yeah.
But already let's try to eliminate this. F into 0 is equal to negative 4. What does it mean?
If we substitute 0 to
If we
x,
substitute 0 at the place of x, we are going to get what?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So it also makes sense that this negative 4 is which value?
D.
D, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, we can just substitute the value of D as what?
Negative 4.
As negative 4. Did you get it? What I said? If we substitute 0 here, right? Like I explained that at this line here, y is equal to what?
0.
0, right? So we are trying to say that this is the y-intercept of here, x is equal to 0 here, right?
Yeah.
If we substitute this is the y-intercept of this graph.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Because if we substitute 0 here, this becomes 0. If we substitute 0, this becomes 0. If we substitute 0, this becomes 0. So this is equal to what? Negative 4. So it means that our d is equal to what?
Negative
4. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Because the 8 is 0, 0, 0. And this is negative 4 and this is what?
Negative 4.
This d becomes negative 4. Do you see that?
Okay.
Right? So our d becomes negative 4. So also here let's substitute by negative 4. So now we are looking for how many values?
For 3.
3 values. Right?
Yeah.
Are we still happy with this?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, we know that if we substitute negative 2, we are also going to get what? 0, right? So again, let's substitute negative 2, right? So f into negative 2 becomes what? Becomes a negative 2 cubed, right? Plus b negative 2 squared plus c negative 2 and then minus 4 here, right?
Yeah.
This should give us 0, right? So it means that our 0 here becomes what? Negative 8a, right?
Yeah.
Plus 4b minus 2c minus 4, right? Can you see that?
Yeah.
So this is another part of an equation. Can you see that? Can you see that? Now let's look at the last thing that they gave us. This one we already used it to find the value of what? Of d, right?
Yeah.
If we look at this, what is this? First derivative, right?
Yeah.
So they said at first derivative, if substitute 0, this becomes what? 0. What does it mean? It means that the gradient at x is equal to 0 is what?
0.
Right? So first let's derive this. So it means that our derivative now becomes what? 3a x squared. Can you see that?
Yeah.
We're deriving this, right?
Mm.
And then plus
2bx
2bx plus
plus c.
c. And this one goes, right?
Yeah.
So it means that if we substitute 0 here and we substitute 0 here, what are we going to get?
C.
0, right? So it means that 0 here becomes 3a 0 squared plus 2b 0 plus c, right? So what does it mean? This one becomes 0, 0. So it means that c is equal to what?
0.
0. So it means that our c is equal to 0, right?
Yeah.
So now we have calculated how many values? 2 values already, right? So it means that on another equation that we're having 2 equations, right? Right?
Mm.
Which equations are we having? We're having this one that is saying a plus b plus c minus 4 is equal to 0, right? So this becomes a plus b minus 4 is equal to 0 because this is what? 0, right? We found that our c is equal to what? 0, right? So it means that our a becomes 4 minus b. So this can be our equation number 1, right? And you go to this equation here that we have d here, right? And also this becomes what? 0, right? So it means that our 0 is equal to negative 8a plus
4b
4b minus
4.
4, right? So also here we can try to make anything subject of the formula, right?
Yeah.
So 8a is equal to 4b minus 4. So this becomes our equation number 2. And here if you see we're having the value of what?
A.
So we can take this value of a and substitute where there is a, right? So this becomes 8
Times
4 minus b, right?
Yeah.
Is equals to 4b minus 4. So this becomes 32 minus 8b is equals to 4b minus 4. If we take this side, it becomes what? Negative 12b is equals to negative 36. So it means that our b becomes what? 3, right? And now we have the value of b. What about the value of a? We know that a is equals to 4 minus b. So our a becomes 4 minus 3, which our a is equals to what?
1.
How many
Found
marks?
all the values.
How many marks?
And normally they don't just give you straightforward like this. They give you piece by piece by piece.
What is
Yes. Where did you lose me? Where did you lose me? At first derivation. Okay. What do you understand? Okay. So we are deriving this equation, right? So we know that if we are deriving this multiplies this, right? So this multiplied by this becomes 3a. And you subtract 1 here, it will be 3a x squared, which is this one. And you know that this multiplies this, so this becomes what? 2b, and then x, and then you get this one. And then this is 1 multiplied by c becomes c. So that is the derivation. And then this one here, we are told that f into what? Into 0, right? Is equal to what? To 0, right? So it means that at our derivation here, we are going to substitute 0 at the place of what? Of x. And the answer should be what? 0. So that's how we came up with c is equal to what? 0.
But 20 marks is
I don't know get this again. I don't know get this again. Okay, so let's see another example of the same nature, right? Of the same nature.
of the same WhatsApp group.
Zubi, are you still with us?
Yeah.
Shaba, ne?
Hmm?
Shaba.
I don't understand.
Super runner.
Jimmy.
Yes.
No, I don't understand.
Okay, so we are given that, and they say we must calculate the value of A, B, C, and D, right? And they gave us that f at 2 is equal to 0, right? And they also gave us that f at 1 is equal to equals to 0. And then we're also told that f at the second derivative at what? At negative 2 is equals to negative 17, right? And you're also told that f also at the second derivative at what? At 2 now is equals to 7. So guys, we just make use of whatever that they gave us. Eh?
Yeah.
Don't be scared of these things. You know the meaning of these things, right?
Yeah.
You know their meanings, right?
Yeah.
So let's start at the second derivative. These ones are the second derivatives, right?
Yeah.
So we know that our first derivative is what? Our first derivative becomes what? 3ax squared, right?
Yeah.
Root plus 2bx plus c. That is our what? Our first derivative, right?
Yeah.
What about our second derivative? You know that our second derivative now becomes what? 6ax plus 2b, right? And c goes, right? So it means that now we are having something like this. So they said if we substitute negative 2 at x here, we're going to get what? Negative 17, right? So let's substitute. So f at negative 2, right? Is equal to 6a what? Negative 2 plus 2b. And this must give us negative 17, right? So multiplying this gives us what?
Negative 12a.
Negative 12a, right? Plus 2b is equal to negative 17, right?
Yeah.
What else are we going to have? So we can take this aside. So it means that our 2b becomes negative 17,
Plus
or let's just do this rather. 12a minus 17, right?
Yeah.
Right? And you can divide throughout by 2. So it means that our b becomes what? 6a minus 17 over 2. And we can call this our equation 1. Right? So let's look at this now. So what is our second derivative?
6ax.
It's equal to 6ax plus 2b. And now if we substitute 2, we are going to get what? 7, right? So this is f at 2 equals to 6a and then what? 2 plus 2b. It should give us what? 7, right? So now what's next? So it means that our 12a plus 2b is equals to 7, right? And you can take this that side, so it means that our 2b becomes 7 minus 12a, which our b becomes what? 7 over 2 minus 6a. Now we can see that this, we can solve it simultaneously, right? So it means that our 7 over 2 minus 6a becomes 6a minus 17 over 2. So we can bring this side, so it means that negative 12a becomes negative 17 over 2, negative 7 over 2. Right?
Yeah.
It is making sense, right? So negative 12a becomes what? If you add this, minus 12. So it means that our a becomes what? 1, right? So we found the value of a. We can substitute anyway, right? So our b is equal to 1 minus 17 over 2. So this is 6 minus 17 over 2. What do you find? What do you find? What do you find? Is it not negative half? Is it not negative? Is it not half? Actually? Because this is... no, it's not half.
12 minus
Yeah, so it's negative 5 over 2, right?
12 minus 17.
So negative 5 over 2 is our value of b, right? So if that is our value of b, let's go to the first derivative so that we can find this value of c, right?
And then 95 over 2.
Did you see what we did here? Did you see what we did?
Yeah.
Did you see what we did?
Yeah.
Okay, so we found the value of a and we found the value of what?
B.
Of b, right? So let's go to the first derivative. So it means that our first derivative becomes what? 3 multiplied by what?
a.
Which is 1, right?
Yeah.
X squared, right? Plus 2 negative 5 over 2. And what? X plus c, right?
Yeah.
Right? So this becomes f at x being equals to 3x squared minus 5x plus c, right?
Yeah.
But now we are told that if we substitute 1 at the value of x, we are going to get what? 0. So this becomes 0 is equals to what? 3, 1 squared minus 5, 1 plus c, right? So it means that our 0 becomes what? 3 minus 5 plus c. So this is minus 2, so it means that our c is equals to 2. Now we found the value of what? C, right? So it means that this equation of ours as a whole is equals to what? F at x is equals to what? 1 x cubed, right? Minus 5 over 2 x squared, right? Plus 2x plus d, right? What else are we having? We are having this, right? F at what? At 2 is equals to what? 0. So it means that if we substitute 2 at the value of x, you're going to get what? 0, right? So it means that this, our 0 becomes what? 2 cubed minus 5 over 2, and then 2 squared, plus what?
2 times 4.
2 plus d, right? So what is left? It means that this becomes what? 8
Then
negative 10. You know negative 10?
Yeah, negative 10. It's 7.
And then 8 is what?
4.
Plus 4 plus d, right? So 8 minus this becomes negative 2, right?
Plus
Yeah.
2.
So this becomes plus 2 this side. When it goes to this side, it will be minus. So this goes to minus 2. So we have found our values, all of them.
How many marks? 10 marks?
No, guys.
this
So let me ask you this. If you are given this
Negative,
thing,
is it not true? It's true, not negative.
is it not negative 2?
Negative 8 plus 4 is how much?
It's 12.
Negative 2.
It's 2. So
Then
it's
the substitute
still
again,
this
and
side.
one and one substitute again. Then one.
Yes, this side is 2. But if you take it this side now, it becomes negative.
Ndikomba
Oh, wait.
hapo tine kuri 1 squared ndo substitute iso yari patu.
Abba, no, it should be 8 because it's cubed.
Ndikomba riyo tena nditende. Don't just land as this here.
Yes, it gave you 2 this side, right? But it's going to go that side again. Okay,
Oh, it's going to go to
Yes.
this.
And be negative.
Rush up.
And the opposite the creation.
Acha kujina crash.
But how many marks?
Don't worry about the marks. What about the procedure? What about the procedure? Why should you worry about the marks? Even if they say they are giving you 1 mark for doing this, it's okay.
I want.
Hey, and you'll be losing marks. It's up to you. After all.
It's up to you, Oga.
So now let's try to see, while you are given some other advantages, right?
next question is
Ah, you were to actually put
Can I erase this?
You eat it later. Like some of the like a different. Okay, so. The main menu.
Okay. So now you are given a bit of advantages, ne? You are given a bit of advantages. You are given a bit of advantages now. You are given this as your f at x is equals to negative x cubed. So it means that they gave you the value of what? Of a, right?
Yeah.
Talent? No, that's not the time. Plus ax squared, right? Plus bx plus c, right? And they said the point of inflection of this, right? Point of inflection is 0 and negative 27, right?
Yeah.
And they gave you that f at negative 3 is equal to 0. Now they say determine the values of A, B, and C. So you do that this value already you are having, right?
Yeah.
So this is your question. Can you please try to solve that? And then we can work it together after you're done.
Oh, this one will remember. But this one.
But this one.
There you go.
Guys, I'm promising you if